Why, hello there. Welcome to the 94th episode of Under the Radar. I'm quite ecstatic to be back today. Wanted to say, before I announce a few things and then get into the episode, I think it's really funny that I keep selling the original recordings, like these original physical media that I keep broadcasting. I just sold Werewolves album on cassette deck that I did in the last episode to a gentleman in Germany. And then I shipped out some other releases, the 504 Plan, the Treehouse Talk EP, and the Minutia EP to someone in Canada. Before I get into episode 94 and the release, I want to plug some things that are going on. One is a friend, two are not friends. I'll start with the non-friends first. So one, maybe about a year and a half ago, I got into this YouTuber by the name of Homath. Hoemath. You can find him on Linktree. I'm not, swearing by all his material, but I really enjoy his spiral dynamics and psychology and levels of thinking videos. If you're looking to kind of, just understand consciousness more and develop in your own evolution, I recommend his channel. The other thing I really like about Homath is that he is anonymous, so nobody knows who he is. And I think that's really cool that he's maintained this sort of mysterious persona. Plug number two is a similar character who's newer to the internet. A friend tipped me off to them, and I, being as you can see, a music nerd, I really enjoy just studying scenes and things like that. And this guy's pretty new, goes by Conspiratainer with a K. Is Konspiritainer. Yeah, I just started following him and his content, and he's covering it looks like DGC records, bands, Nirvana, Weezer, the whole conspiracy of Rivers Cuomo and Kurt Cobain potentially being the same soul, same person, so to speak. And that's kind of a fascinating angle, and it looks like it might unfold into something more. So anyway, check out Conspiratainer. Linktree link is here. Subscribe to him on YouTube. And then another plug is my buddy, Sir Isaac from the Canary Cry Supply Drop. He handles that for my boys at Canary Cry Radio, the podcast, and Canary Cry News Talk. And he has a coffee company that he is trying to plug, and I may become an affiliate soon. I'm not getting anything at the current moment, but if you want to check out his coffee company, check out Gold Stackers Coffee. Here's the link. Go support Isaac. It's pretty cool. I like what he stands for. He's a good guy. I've hung out with him a number of times, and he's been very helpful in helping me distribute Slave to Servant material. So again, check out Homath, Conspiratainer, and Gold Stackers Coffee. And before I get into this next episode and this release for number 94, I would like to just, again, go back and plug all of the episodes that involve me personally as an artist, because since the get-go, I've done a number of episodes, and I'll just review currently, since today's episode features me as well as my buddy Vapor Eyes, who I've covered in the past. Episode 8, I covered Midwest Blues, Columbus Conspiracy EP on CD. I still have a number of those in my web store if anybody would like to buy one. I have maybe 10 copies left of that. Very old, the oldest thing I've ever pressed. Then in episode 23, I covered Midwest Blues, Remembering to Forget, which is highly out of print. I even saw that there are none available on Amazon anymore, so that's kind of cool. I think I have maybe 2 copies left in my web store. Then episode 48, I covered the Alarm Comp by Midwest Blue on Johann's Face Records. I think I probably, again, have about 8 to 10 copies of those clear discs left, if anybody wants some, from my web store, also out of print. In episode 55, I covered Dorm Life's debut full-length album, It's Not Me, It's You, aka the Red Album. And I think I have, again, 3 copies in my web store if you want to buy one. Episode 60, I covered Unique Chic, which was my second release on Alarm Clock after A Dorm Life. My record label, which I've been covering also in this series. Great band. I have probably at least 30 copies of that left if you would like one. phenomenal analog recording if you're a fan of American football and those kinds of bands. Then in episode 66, I covered Midwest Blues Sides release, our final collected compilation of our discography on Johann's Face Records when we were on that label in Chicago. I know I have probably about 20 copies of that left in my web store. Then episode 73, I covered the second sophomore release by Dorm Life, Roses Are Blue, which probably is the best out of all of the ones that I've mentioned so far. I maybe have about 15 to 20 copies left in my web store for sale if you're interested in that, another out-of-print album. Then in episode 75, Vapor Eyes Earth Rising, I think I have about 30 to 40 copies of that record left in my web store if you'd like a copy. Episode 77, I covered Goodnight Goodnight. They're 2 EPs compiled on 1 CD, so a 10-song album that I put on Alarm Clock. I think I have about 30 of those left as well in my web store. Episode 80, The Alarm Comp, I might have 2 of these left in my web store, but if you'd like a copy of that, check that out. Episode 87, I covered Boomjuice, our first full-length album, Sleep Less in Chicago. This CD is available also in my web store. I might have about 25 copies left of that. And then in episode 91, which was fairly recent, I covered the second release by Boomjuice, the Crunk in Public EP on cassette. And I think I have about 4 copies of this or 5 copies of this left if you would like one. Extremely limited to 100 cassettes ever made. So I think that about sums it up for giving the throwback on things that I've been involved with that were directly related to my own artistic discography, whether it was label or collaboration or my own releases personally that I've written. So with that all being said, you can go to Bandcamp. My Bandcamp page is samswanson.bandcamp.com, and you can look up all my releases there, download them digitally. Also samswansonmusic.com, under my music page, I link everything via Bandcamp. If you just want to get a digital copy or stream it, that's the place to go. That is my final destination for where I like to archive my music personally. Okay, so let's move on to today's episode. Again, in line with what I just said about Boomjuice, in 2008, we started recording our Sleepless album. We released that in 2009 and then hit the ground running and started recording right away. Recorded the Crunk in Public release for early, I think it was February of 2010 it came out. And then right after that, we went right back into the studio, and today's release is that release. It is none other than the final EP and release by Boomjuice, Mixing in Action. Now, this one is quite near and dear to me for various reasons that you will get to hear about in this episode. Number one, it was only pressed, not pressed really, just put out on a CDR and a free download at the time in 2010. This was, I think, late summer of 2010 when we released this, or September 2nd or something. This was on Secret Schools. It wasn't even on Alarm Clock, my label, even though I had a big hand in it, because it's all sample based. And this was all David, aka Vapor Eyes' idea. What I will say, if you do want a copy of this, I did recently find original covers. I have a bunch, which I will include if you order the Crunk in Action CDR in my web store. I will put those original covers in there because I burned both the Crunk in Public and Mixing in Action releases together on one CDR and put them in my web store. So that is available. However, I did something even cooler for my own self recently. I think we maybe only handed out about, I'm gonna say, under 50 copies of those CDRs, or maybe under 100 at our last couple shows, because we only had 2 more shows to go at the time of releasing Mixing in Action. I went to a website and I pressed my own copy of Mixing in Action on vinyl, just one copy, a one-off copy. It cost me like $45, $50 to do it, but I put it out with Alarm Clock on the back and Secret Schools. And I'm just really proud of this. This is probably, I don't know, top 3 for me of like the Chicago years of my music. And just thought it was a really cool idea that Vapor Eyes had to essentially take all these songs are us, Boomjuice, versus another artist, another production team, all that. We would take their original instrumentals and we would make them into songs of our own and write our own lyrics over. This was his concept. I don't know exactly how he thought of it, although you will be seeing some interviews with Vapor Eyes at the end of the episode once I play some tracks on it, and he will explain his side of the story. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and say that the album was recorded, I think, mainly like spring and summer of 2010, and it came together very quickly, like most of our releases did. There are a total of 9 tracks on here. The first is called Sintroduction in conjunction with the other 2 releases like Spintroduction and Sprintroduction, and this is Sintroduction. Sintroduction starts with sin because it is a direct rip-off. Like the intro is not ours and it doesn't even have our vocals on it. It's just this theme song to Darker Than Black, the anime series. I used to be pretty big into anime back then and came across that and really liked that intro. Thought it really suited some sort of like to use it for this. So we did. Beautiful little intro that I'm not going to play today because it would just completely get flagged for copyright. The rest of everything was rearranged by us so we took these beats and we put them in our own order. We structured them the way we wanted them to be. And I think only 2 of these songs originally had vocals on them by the original artist. One was Barely, but Moments in Love by Art of Noise, which was the only contribution I believe that I gave on the whole release. I was like, we should do Moments in Love. And so we wrote a whole song around that one. And then I believe the Carmel City by Pete Rock and CL Smooth is a hip hop song that had vocals, but we completely did our own thing with that one. So anyway, now that I've got that out of the way, we again recorded this at Lab 401 in Des Plaines, Illinois. Again, a defunct studio now, no longer existent. Somebody probably lives there and doesn't even know that these dudes were recording in this bare bedroom. We mixed it in Park Ridge with Dan Precision, our homie from 88 Fingers Louie, another band I love. I've talked about Rise Against and a little bit of 88 Fingers Louie history in the past, and been involved with a lot of mixing with Dan and things with Dan in the past. Anyhow, so Dan mixed this bad boy, and why don't we just go ahead and play a few songs off of it, and then we'll talk a little bit about the time, and I'll interview Vapor Eyes a little bit like I have in the last 2 Boomjuice episodes. So let's go ahead and start with, I guess this is technically track 2, although it's the first of 8 real songs if you don't include the intro. This song is entitled Spiral Sky.
Scientists from all over the world are trying to figure out what caused a mysterious blue light to spiral in the sky on Wednesday.
A blue light, small at first, growing into a spiral, and then disappearing into what appeared to be a black hole.
Let the music get your mind. Let the music get your mind. One time, girl. Let the music get your mind. Let the music get your mind. One time, girl.
And we also seen an aircraft in the vicinity, and we heard a boom.
Go set it off and get your fix so you can move it to the mix. Don't wanna miss it. Action, opportunity is knocking. So turn the knob and flip the latch, or else we're coming from the back. No time to analyze your favorites. Let the music hit your mind one time. The beat creeps from behind to drop the bass line. When the DJ pops and drops the proper melody, the club got so bumped there and I commit felonies. Action packed, the place was stacked. Ladies took it to the track from the front to the back. Aphrodisiac
going crazy to the core while the sky was lit up in strobes and lights. Left the club again for another sleepless night. Let my soul go only when the mood is right. Spirits up with the type of man music is medicine.
Sky is falling while the curtains calling. Everybody's stalling just to feel alive. Earth is rising while we're visualizing every silver lining just to clear the cloud and smile the sky. Sky is falling while the curtains calling. Everybody's stalling just to feel alive. Earth is rising while we're visualizing every silver lining just to clear the cloud and smile the sky. Clear the cloud and smile the sky. Clear the cloud and smile the sky. Let the music get your mind. Let the music get your mind. One time, girl. Let the music get your mind. Let the music get your mind. One time, girl. Let the music get your mind. Let the music get your mind. One time, girl.
Great opener, high energy dance song. Prep School, I believe, were David's friends. I think we played with Prep School at least one time in the duo. Great track. Again, there were no vocals for that song. It was just a badass instrumental, and we did our own thing, wrote our own lyrics. This next track is a banger. It's a Dame Funk beat that we used and wrote our own lyrics to, again, with the theme of keeping the original title and trying to implement that somehow if we could into the lyrics. Didn't always happen, but in this case it did. Here is Hood Pass Intact.
Check, 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 1, 2. Midwest Coast, we dreamin'. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. I zoomed down the avenue, trunk goes boom. CQ on the streets, singing that tune. The boulevard hard knocks, I presume that the lunatic fringe will eliminate as I get closer to the bridge, stepping up to the Golden Gate. California dreams, hood pass to the big escape.
Spread on the plastic, scattered in the wall. It says in on the subject while your face is from the sprawl. If only I forgot it, this might be a closer call. But all in all, we're one on one but one.
Intact, check that, rewind it back. Boomjuice spitting fire over Dame Funk tracks. Let the G-Funk blast intact. Was a hood pass, coasting on the freeway to the max. Was a piece of ass, caught like a pork chop or a fine blade of grass. Spaced out, feeling the sound. Getting down with the get down while I'm cruising downtown. For a sit down, sun was still shining. Looking for my hideaway. Take my stage show to the city any night or day. It's a freak show on the streets, but I fly away. Black, white, yellow, brown, or a certain shade of gray. The modern space boogie funk machine has got me feeling like I'm living the dream. Maxed out off the ice cream, big players and shopping malls. Left this hood pass home and headed back to the sprawl.
We have you surrounded.
Spread on the plastic, scattered in the wall. It says in on the subject while your face is from the sprawl. If only I forgot it, this might be a closer call. But all in all, we're one on one but one. You said you can relax, well loosen up your pants and relearn to dance. It's easy to see that we don't agree, cause you wanna be and next you wanna be me. So sit back, remove your hat. Boomjuice got the hood pass still intact. It's easy to hate when you're imitating all the trends that escape because you got them too late. So wait in line for my next design. It's a hipster showdown tonight. Pull your bandana tight, grab your pap spoon ribbon and get it where you figure into frames like I just been in with your 2020 vision. While we're running out of things to talk about, let's forget we ever met. Hand you off like a handout. About that line, would you look at the time? It's a quarter to the core, shoots you right from behind. Spread on the plastic, scattered in the wall. It says in on the subject while your face is from the sprawl. If only I forgot it, this might be a closer call. But all in all, we're one on one but one.
Love that G-Funk. So I'm gonna skip the next couple tracks, but the next song was our rendition of Carmel City by the legendary Pete Rock and CL Smooth, one of my favorite hip-hop groups of all time. Then track 4 was a song called To Sleep to Dream, which was a Orange Factory song. Initially I had tried to get my buddy Sean from the band Empires, who I've covered in the past in this series, and wasn't able to get him, but I think I pulled that one off myself pretty well. That song's a very personal one to me. You can check that one out. I'm gonna play the next song in the track listing. This song is by a group called Tobacco. It was an instrumental called Creepy Phone Calls.
You got a lot of people out there teaching a lot of rah-rah and hoo-ha and how to get people all fired up, and that's all great. But I'm going to share with you what I believe to be the missing link behind employee motivation.
Yo. Fuck a work week. Come on. All mixed up, stop clocks got me in a twist up, dissed up, 40 hours left till I'm blissed up. Every part of me caught in the economy, work week, run around, breaking the monotony.
Don't say it's already Monday, just say oh no it can't be. Hands on the clock seem to be balling up into fist clocking me. I stepped away after Sunday, such a sick catastrophe. So clock me out till I'm unconscious, make me oversleep.
Second hand slid by right past the first, it's the worst, Joe. Feel like waiting is a curse, bro. Loosen up your grip on the clock non-stop as I pop like a cop. Wasting minutes at the donut shop, blast like a mission. Live life like a wildflower. Funny how the hours in the day carry so much power. Time I kicks up, save it for the weekend. Steady creeping, ain't no sanity in tweaking.
Everybody's weekend from the weekend, starting from the finish line, then back to the start. It's like the closer that we're getting, we're just further apart. If we could stop the watch, then we could punch the clock in time. Everybody's weekend from the weekend, starting from the finish line, then back to the start. It's like the closer that we're getting, we're just further apart. If we could stop the watch, then we could punch the clock in time.
As I slip my way down the rabbit hole, load of baggage on my back, it's a challenge, yo, grinding. For the peace of mind I'm minding, never ender, I surrender to realities I'm finding. Everything's greasy all the time, feeling mixed up, punched out, blowing out my mind, then my shift's up. Sit downtown and reminisce while I wait here, waiting for the weekend, stare at screens with a blank stare.
Don't say it's already Monday, just say oh no it can't be. Hands on the clock seem to be balling up into fist clocking me. I stepped away after Sunday, such a sick catastrophe. So clock me out till I'm unconscious, make me oversleep. Everybody's weekend from the weekend, starting from the finish line, then back to the start. It's like the closer that we're getting, we're just further apart. If we could stop the watch, then we could punch the clock in time. Everybody's weekend from the weekend, starting from the finish line, then back to the start. It's like the closer that we're getting, we're just further apart. If we could stop the watch, then we could punch the clock in time. In time.
Yep, 15 minutes of fame, 40 hours to freedom. What's your plan this weekend? What's on your agenda? The beach? The library? Perhaps a nightclub? Whatever it is, I'll catch y'all on Monday.
All my pros, keep it y'all in health, just to see you smile and enjoy yourself. For all my pros, keep it y'all in health, yeah.
Talk about Rat Race. That song, I think, perfectly describes the discontentment with just 9-to-5 jobs and our whole society, the gerbil wheel, just being stuck in, just another cog in the machine kind of thing, I love that song. I think that one is really unique stylistically. Wouldn't have made a song quite like that, sonically speaking. And I think that one was fun because there was such a detachment for me musically from it that I could just do whatever I wanted. I definitely came up with some melodies that weren't typical in my realm. But anyway, yeah, Creepy Phone Calls, one of my favorites on this one. I think that one holds up quite well. The next two songs I'm not gonna play. The next one is called Thinking Out Loud by Big Gigantic. And then the following track is called Frozen Treats by a Gobi Project. Now that one, it has a little bit of an interesting story for me. I've said in the past that we were always sober, right? And Dave was sober. It was the only time I remember showing up, I believe it was Frozen Treats. If I'm wrong, it could have been Thinking Out Loud. I'm trying to remember which of those songs. And if I heard it right this second, I would be able to sort of decipher. But it was one of these two songs. I think it was Frozen Treats though. And I showed up high to the studio and I could barely write. I could barely just exercise that part of my brain. It was just not working. And that was not something I ever did. Only one time did I ever do that. And I can see why it just didn't work out. And Dave's like, I didn't even tell Dave that I was stoned at his place. And he's like, dude, you're normally like on it. And I was like, yeah, dude, I smoked. He's like, I knew it. I knew something was up. So that's something, it's interesting to kind of note that now in hindsight here in my 40s, because I don't drink anymore. I haven't drank since November of 2022. So I haven't had anything other than some coffee here and there. And I just find that I'm at my best all the time, creatively, personally, just whatever, when I don't partake in substances. So I just think that's kind of funny to reminisce about that for a moment. All right, the last song on the release is one that I mentioned earlier, and I'm just really happy with this one. Oh, it's such a classic. And I think special place in my heart for this one. We turned Moments in Love by The Art of Noise into our own sort of love song. Well, here it goes.
It's time, gotta grind, got your tongue all tied up in knots and can't get the words all out in time. But do I dare to bet another one's coming? Cause another second is bound to be all a lover gets. When the heat gets hotter, baby gonna be my water. Faith in these moments in love. You gotta believe.
Buzz hits, got me feeling higher than the drugs I quit. And I love the fresh air, windows down in my whip while I bang that shit. Hot souls open up to relationships, smell hearts like Kenny in the sun. We're two hearts beating on the same drum. Got me doing silly things that I ain't supposed to, but I can't let go cause it's too much fun. And I'm on the run with my lover girl baby. We're two become one, nothing else can't phase me. I dialed your frequency, I found your pitch. One in a million turn me on like a switch. I wish we break on through. From the moment I laid eyes on the prize, I knew I saw that angel way up in the air. Ignite, take a flight, not a moment to spare. No fear, my dear, I care in love.
To tell you from the bottom of my heart, advertise. I got you 24/7 on the 365. I gotta keep your heart until I make you believe that you're so unbelievable. I said you got me thinking you're what keeps me alive. Without your love, I'm without water, I would never survive. I gotta keep you shining on me till you believe that you're so unbelievable. To tell you from the bottom of my heart, advertise. I got you 24/7 on the 365. I gotta keep your heart until I make you believe that you're so unbelievable. I said you got me thinking you're what keeps me alive. Without your love, I'm without water, I would never survive. I gotta keep you shining on me till you believe that you're so unbelievable.
A nice soothing end to this party album here. I don't know, I really like this release. I would have played you more, but I also wanted to get some David interview in and talk a little bit more, expound on what he says. So one other thing I do want to say is that at the time we were doing this, there was a group called The Weeknd. And I say group because that dude who is The Weeknd now was with Doc, who did production on Estero and Rez, other group singers that we really liked, and they released like the House of Balloons? I can't remember all the EPs, but there were like 3 EPs in the same like amount of time as like we had pretty much done all our Boomjuice releases. It was going so quick, and they had a lot of hype behind them. And so I think like unconsciously we were like before/during that era, long before The Weeknd blew up, right? And that's just a little bookmark of the time period that we were in. I also want to say the artwork's sick. I do think I came up with the original crappy mock-up for this, but we were very much fueled by Starbucks. Like we would stop off and get a iced black coffee all the time at Starbucks before a sesh, and we just wanted to go with that brown, green, black, like Starbucks, boomjuice.net vibe. And so yeah, Tom Demavivis, who did all our artwork in the past and had also done the Vapor Eyes artwork, and he did my Slave to Servant artwork for Escape Babylon, which is probably the most dope thing ever. But I love this artwork, wearing our uniforms that we would wear to shows. And yeah, so we only had 2 shows left to play at the time of making this, and one of them we didn't really do till later. I think we did Duckfest, and then we had a lull, and in between that time a lot happened, and I'm going to cover that in all these next few episodes of Under the Radar. I'm not going to get into it now, but just reference that for the future episodes. The next episode in particular is what I was really focusing on very hard with Dan Precision. He and I had started a new band. We were writing a record together that never got released, and that'll be all in the next episode. But as I say that, let's go ahead and let's move on to Vapor Eyes here. I had some questions for him, and I wanted to comb through his memory bank and sort of see what he could muster up and remember about our experiences together making Mixing in Action in the studio. So question 1, hey Vapor Eyes, where and how did you get the idea, or how did you come up with the idea for the concept of Mixing in Action?
The idea of Mixing in Action kind of came from me through the realm of hip-hop, kind of post MySpace, early SoundCloud. There was a lot of more experimentation and kind of like anything goes, no rules sort of era, the DJ drama mixtapes and stuff where people were like rhyming over other people's beats, and it was just kind of like more project kind of stuff, where rather than like full-length albums. So that's kind of where it stemmed from. And then with my eclectic tastes, I just combed around for beats I liked, and I presented the idea to Sam. Hey man, why don't we rap and sing over these cool beats and make ourselves a little project? And all that stems from like the hip hop world, and even this is sort of like a lineage of the genre, even in late 90s New York, and they were passing out mixtapes on the street, and had the little street vendors and doing bootlegs and stuff like that. So between the DJ and mixtape realm and just being a fan of that genre for a very long time, I thought maybe we should experiment with this and kind of do it in our own way. And so I had collected some beats that I thought I liked, presented them to Sam, and they're kind of in different ballparks, electronic and full-blown hip-hop and down-tempo, and we just did our thing over them, man. I thought it would be a cool idea to take that concept and do our Boomjuice thing with it.
Thank you, sir. Well, how about this for question 2? How about, what do you remember about recording Mixing in Action in the studio? Go.
What do I remember about the Mixing in Action recording sessions? If I'm honest, I'm not that much. I was in school at the time and commuting back and forth and working on some Vapor Eyes solo stuff, and we were doing Boomjuice pretty actively up until that point. What I remember is, having a lot of fun. Again, when me and Sam got together, it was just a good time, creative time. I remember writing the raps and really trying to go hard on some of these lyrics, and was really kind of accepting a lot of the state of affairs with the world and whatnot, and that's reflected in the tone of the words, you know, and stuff about the environment, stuff about work, blah blah blah, you know, have some heavy stuff, but it was, you know, it was fun to rhyme over those beats, and then collaborate with Sam was always an interesting thing, because, like, again, like I've stated in other interviews, you know, that we really just had fun with it, man. It was a free form, like, experimental situation where nothing was off the table. Sam would really get down to business with some of his puns and his lyrics and his harmonies and melodies, and I was just trying to excel at my station with it, you know. I don't know, I don't necessarily consider myself a rapper. I just can't sing, and I have a lot to say. So, you know, looking back, you know, I feel like pretty good about my performance in the medium, and I think we did it justice. And yeah, overall, listening back, it's an overall, like, it's a really cool thing, you know. Start to finish, it's got a nice flow and some nice choice of beats, and I felt like me and Sam really executed on that. So yeah, definitely did that justice and had a great time doing it.
Okay, that's pretty good. He didn't remember that I was stoned on that one song, but I wonder if that's going to come back to him at all. Okay, Vapor Eyes, what are your top 3 standout tracks on Mixing in Action?
Top 3 songs on Mixing in Action. Well, I'm going to kind of like do an evasion of this question, because when I was choosing beats to pick for this project and present to Sam, I basically picked things I really liked, I'm a fan of, and that really, in my mind, as a listener, I thought sort of deserved vocal treatment over. So yeah, I don't really have a top 3. I think overall, the whole thing is rad, and, you know, some of them are more traditional hip-hop tempos, and then other ones like the Prep School's faster. The Agobi project is like more like a halftime beat, and those sort of were more of a challenge to rhyme over. But yeah, overall, I think it's it contains a cool vibe, and there's a thread through it, even though some of the beats are in different ballparks. I still think the pick and the overall vibe fits the Boomjuice mold, and that sort of fun, creative, hip-hop, electronic pop element that we brought to the table.
Fair. It's really tough to pick a favorite song on Mixing in Action. I think I played my favorites, but I did leave some others off too, and I think that, like, I think To Sleep to Dream is a really great kind of spiritual message to it. I think the other songs are very, very well done as well. But for me, it's I'm just gonna stick with what I played so far, which is Spiral Sky, Hood Pass Intact, Creepy Phone Calls, and Moments in Love. Those are my favorites. And then I'd add To Sleep to Dream, and then the others are very good songs, but not my favorites. Okay, so how about July of 2010? Do you remember playing Duck Fest? Because that was the only show that we played when we were doing Mixing in Action. And I don't even think we officially released Mixing in Action yet. I think it came out in September. But we did a bunch of the songs off of it for the first time. And then we didn't do any gigs until our final gig at Metro. So yeah, what do you remember about Duck Fest?
Duck Fest, bro. The glory days of the independent hippie festival. And what a funny era, huh? Anyhow, I remember playing there. It was in the middle of rural central Illinois. We got invited. I was milling around that circuit, doing some solo stuff, DJ beat set kind of stuff. And yeah, we were looking for gigs, and they invited us to play there. And it was just a funny time, man. I remember we went out there, stopped at a Walmart, thought it'd be funny to rock some bandanas and then play the show barefoot in true hippie spirit. I guess we were just going along with the vibe, you know what I mean? Played on some like makeshift wooden deck sort of deal. Oh man. Yeah, but we rolled up. We did not camp, we did not stay there. I remember rolling up and it was a bunch of hippies everywhere, dirty, waking up. We were early in the day and we did our set, and man, just a Boomjuice way, you know, we got in where we fit in and just did our thing wherever we went, you know what I mean? From hippie festivals to punk rock concerts. I mean, nobody knew what to do with us at the time, so we just did us, you know? And that's the way it went. Good times, man. Duckfest 2010.
Yes, I remember the bandanas and the hippies and people sleeping. It was early morning when we did that gig, and it was like people kind of started to crawl out of their tents. Yeah, we just went for it. We were all juiced up. Okay, well then, what do you remember about our final performance as Boomjuice, as a duo, at the Metro in Chicago, opening up for 88 Fingers Louie and the Bullweevils and House at Gloria Vanderbilt, and I know there was another band. What do you remember about that Metro performance? Your first ever at the Metro, our first at the Metro together, and December of 2010, before I moved to New York. What do you remember about that?
Our final show, oh man, that was a special one to me because I had been seeing shows at the Metro in Chicago since 1995. It's been a special place to me in my musical journey, in my heart, in my city. Yeah, I've seen so many classic things there, and to finally be able to perform at that venue was a real bucket list thing for me. So shouts out Dan Precision, the homie. 88 Fingers Louie, his band, his band from the 90s, they reunited and asked us to perform as the opening act, which was like a cool risk and a cool homie move that he took, putting us up on that bill of mostly punk bands. So it was the punk rock thing to do. Thank you, Daniel. But yeah, man, I had a great time. We got cool pictures of that event. I got great memories. I was able to play there one more time before moving out of state in my Vapor Eyes solo journey and opening for the Orb, which was also like another special moment. But yeah, man, I remember some family came out, a lot of friends. It was just a really good time and a really special moment to finally perform at that building and in that on that stage. You know, it was a great way to close it out before Sam ended up moving to New York and the Boomjuice project just kind of fizzled onto the shelf. You know, it was a great close for that chapter and a very Boomjuice thing to be playing with like 4 punk bands basically. So what a ride, you know? Great times, awesome memories.
Nice. Yeah, for me, what I remember most about that was it was so fun, and I know that Dan went to bat for us. Like, I think that the singer of 88, Dennis, I believe, like he didn't want us to play, and we were getting some hate from him and some other punk rockers on Facebook, and Dan just went to bat for us. So like, fuck that, Boomjuice is opening. And that was really dope that he let us do that. Especially in hindsight that Dan and I had been working on a project together and I basically called it off. And I know that he was really bummed, but he still had us open. And that was really, it shows Dan's character a lot, kind of person he is. The other thing I will note about that performance, I know that David and I went to the 88 Fingers Louie reunion show where they did a live record at Reggie's I think the year before in 2009, and so we were in attendance at that. But fast forward back to this gig that we played with 88, I remember our set, I don't know, it was such a weird, you know, it's a weird bill to be on, right, with all these punk rock bands and then this weirdo duo, electronic duo opening up. I don't know. It's really hard. I'd have to go back and comb through the footage. I know I have it somewhere and I can find it. And perhaps I'll put some of that in here and it'll prove me wrong. But I just remember I felt real snarky and I said something like at the end of our set, like I remember saying, just want to thank 88 Fingers Louie for having us. I know Kid Dynamite was supposed to play, but we got to play instead. And like I was just so snotty about it. And I just remember some of the looks I was getting, like it was like boo status. But anyway, that's what I remember about that show. Okay, Vapor Eyes, I'm gonna let you take this away and just let me know anything else. Final thoughts, bonuses, anything that you want to wrap up the Boomjuice experience with. Let me know. Tell our audience. Go, buddy.
So yeah, final thoughts, takeaways, overall conclusion. I want to say a big thank you to Sam Capriquarius for putting this all together, doing this retrospective on our project. You know, I know it was a short-lived thing, only about 2 years, 2.5 maybe. About 4 handfuls of shows. Yeah, man, it's been fun to do this, rewind back in time and just kind of reminisce and get nostalgic about the Boomjuice era. Again, man, had a lot of fun doing it. Me and Sam had a great time. I look back fondly upon those memories and studio sessions and shows, and there was a giant learning curve for me, you know. Like I said, it was short-lived, and when it was done, it was kind of like wrapped up really quick. Sam was moving out of state, and then I embarked on like a 10-plus year solo excursion, but I wouldn't have been able to do that without those couple years with Sam and Boomjuice. I learned so much just hanging out with dude and really getting my feet wet in Ableton Live, and that was in the 2000s, so, you know, early on, and just really getting my hands dirty there, and also like learning how to structure songs and watching this dude operate. And it was really cool, both of us coming from like punk and punk adjacent backgrounds, to kind of meet in the middle and meld our influences that spanned hip-hop and soundtracks and R&B and punk rock and so many things in between, and just kind of make our own juice with it, if you will. And yeah, man, it was quite a run, short and sweet. The spirit of youth really shows in the creative output of Boomjuice, and I have zero regrets, man. I loved doing it. I had a great time. One other thing I'll add is that, yeah, overall, we just had so much fun doing this thing, you know, being young and really hungry and really creative, and finding somebody who was kind of that match. It was really sort of an unexpected friendship and creative partnership, and that really helped catapult me after Sam had moved into my own solo stuff. What I had taken from the Boomjuice experience and what I had learned from Sam during that whole overall ride, and watching that dude just do his thing, and it just inspired me in a way to take it back out into my own sphere, you know, once he had booked out of the state. So yeah, I look back really fondly on those times. It was a short and sweet chapter, and it was a great stepping stone and building block in my life. I want to say, yeah, shouts out again, Sam. Big love to the Boomjuice project. Thanks again for doing this. Had a lot of fun reminiscing and reflecting on a great period of my life. Peace, y'all.
Thank you, Vapor Eyes. I so very much appreciate you being a good sport and doing these interviews in these 3 Boomjuice episodes. I'm going to be covering Vapor Eyes' second full length, but first one with vocals in it. It's moving so fast, it's standing still. In the future here, before wrapping up the 100 episodes. Again, I wanted to mention this was never released on vinyl. I have the only copy, and I am pleased to be holding it. But if you would like a CDR, or if you want to offer me some money, you know, I just mentioned it's kind of expensive, so if you want this one-off copy, I could probably sell it for a good price, or a pretty price that you're willing to pay. Reviews. We have one review for Mixing in Action from the Illinois Entertainer. Here we go. Pun-loving electro-hip-hop duo follows the Crunk in Public EP with Mixing in Action. 9 sample-happy tracks that end up in the neighborhood of Handsome Boy Modeling School. Presented in mixtape format and drawing on beats from Pete Rock and Art of Noise to local crew Prep School, it's like any good mix. The rapping and editing is on equal footing with the source tapes, and shows the pair trying on all manner of shoes, but none too large. Steve F. from the Illinois Entertainer. Thanks, Steve.
Memories of childhood, good and bad, interkindled friendship across the lines of justice. But hidden behind frozen smiles, just a dress.
This Boomjuice, yeah, I'm taking it all the way back to prep school. This is Vapor Eyes right here. My own Capriquarius. It's gonna be our last show for a long time. I'm always going to New York for a new job. Big props to damn decision. Okay. So, this unit right here. Let's get warmed up. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. So, CQ wants to tell you why we're all here tonight.
Kid Dynamite got back together, but and they wanted to play, but they told us to play instead. So
yeah, there you go.
Sorry that we had to play instead of Kid Dynamite, guys.
You got the goof off dance duo upstairs. Yeah. All right, this is off our first record. It's called Get On It.
But again, go to the samswansonmusic.com/store and you can get Mixing in Action and Crunk in Public on one CDR. I will include the original cover that I just found, since I have a plethora of them in a stack here. And I think that about wraps it up for Mixing in Action. So in other news, I have been just plugging away with my boy Aaron Tate. We are finishing up the last song right now for our cover album, Focus on the Mission, in our group called Take Over the World. Once I hit the 100 episode mark, I will be taking a slight break, but I may come back and cover more of the journey when I was in New York, when I left Chicago, which is very near here. But I have the albums that are going to be in those later episodes. I have the score that I did for Leonard Ulrich's The Illusion of Money documentary film. I have the Handsome Young Ladies, We Got It Covered cover album, which is also on vinyl, not just CD. I have the Singularity collection by Slave to Servant on CD. I have the Escape Babylon album on CD and vinyl as well. And then I have the Red Tape on CD. All of these are available, of course, not just at samswansonmusic.com/store, but go to samswanson.bandcamp.com and you can get yourself, the digitals of everything. There's bonus tracks on the digital versions of some of those albums. And again, I'll just for the heck of it, I'll plug it again. Check out Homath, the content creator, on his Levels of Thinking videos and all those. I think they're very helpful for humanity. 2, check out Conspiratainer. That dude he probably could use some subscribers. I think he has like 12. I was looking at his channel, but really enjoying the Nirvana Weezer comparisons right now. We'll see where else it goes, but go to his link tree here. And then my buddy Isaac at Gold Stackers Coffee at the link above. And I should be back soon to cover the Exit Flames episode. I believe that's what's coming next. I would have to look. That should be fun. So I'll catch you on the flip side on the next episode, and thank you for your time.